Do you find it hard to work with ARKit? Well, today I am going to save your day. Alex here from Rebeloper.com. Hit that subscribe button because in this video we are going to tackle AR, how easy it is to use AR with Configwise. If you've been following along this channel, you know that a few years ago, well, 1 or 2 years ago, I was really into AR. I had a lot of tutorials about ARKit. Honestly, I bought this phone just to be able to check out AR. You know, that's how enthusiastic I was, and I still am. But as it turns out, it's not that easy to implement AR into your iOS app. Well, till now, because I found a really cool service and it's called Configwise, and it makes AR implementation into your iOS apps, or rather into your any kind of apps, because it supports also Android. It supports also Android and iOS, so you can make your AR apps really easy. Now, just a quick note what you can use Configwise for. Well, let's say you are a business or you want to convince a business, a small business, that they should use AR for their advantage. Well, let's say they have some inventory and then they would create these SCN files for those items and create an app with those items, and whenever a user just taps on that items and takes a look at it in AR and they want to buy it, they just click on, or rather tap on a link, and they will be taken to their shop. How awesome is that? So that is what Configwise is offering. They offer kind of the SDK, or they do offer an app, but we will see that in just a moment. But we are going to create a brand new app with the Configwise SDK, and then you could just build your own app for any type of company. Now, let's take a look at the site. It says configwise.io. Happy shopping for them, higher sales for you. Well, this is their motto, and yeah, we will get into the details in just a moment. And the SDK is located, of course, on GitHub, configwise SDK iOS. Now, before we begin, let me just you could just sign up for free. You could have 10 items, if I believe, for free, and yeah, there's a paid version for deep linking and unlimited items. So if we just log in, because I have created a new account for myself already, so I can test this out. This is really awesome. Okay, so as you can see, we are in, and yeah, if you are a new user, you would have a lot more products here. I just mess around here, and let's just add a new category here. So I will name this, and of course, the most important part of Configwise is that they allow you to create your so-called catalog on their backend. So you don't have to re-upload the app on the App Store. It's all on their dashboard. So let's have here, I won't bother with adding an image here, but I could. So let's add a new product here. Let's add this sofa, and yeah, basically that will be it. Now, what I have to do now is let me just go ahead and remove this. And as you can see, they do have their App Store and their Google Play apps. So what I'm going to do right now is just simply open up my phone and scan this QR code. But before we do that, let me just open up a QuickTime here so you can see what I can see on my phone. So I'm just going to start all over again. So scanning, view on the App Store. There we go. And let's just download this. We just put this back. Okay, now we can open it up. We can log in. There we go. We are in. And as you can see, here we have our sofa. Now we can tap on it. And it's loading, and I will add this as an AR. As you can see, we have our scene, so SCN view, but let's just do AR, and we will just tap OK here, And let me just locate my floor. There we go. And it's already there. Let's just move this sofa. Let me just minimize this a little bit. Okay, so there's our big sofa. Awesome. How great is that? Really, really nice. Okay, so that's really nice, but what we want to do here is create our very own app. So yeah, you could just tell users to log in with this so-called email and password and they could just purchase there. But how awesome it would be to create our very own Xcode app and then upload it to the App Store. So that is what we are going to do right now. So let's just move out of here and let's take a look at the iOS SDK. Well, we are going to use their SDK, and of course we are going to use their examples because there are a lot of code involved, but you have to do this only once. And yeah, we are just going to copy and paste some files here and there, and most importantly I will explain to you what all of this really is. Okay, so first of all, let's go into our catalog, because as you can see here we have our app content. That's for the Configwise app, and under the catalog you can see there are a lot of products. Well, a few products. In the free version you could have 10, of course. And yeah, you could add a new product if you wanted to, and we will do just that. So let's add a new product here. And if you just scroll a little bit down, you will see that it says new component. Now, components are basically products. We will see that in the SDK. So let's name this like Rebeloper chair. Okay, now this is the internal name. What you will see on the app, it's under the app name. So I'll just copy this out, Rebeloper chair, and I will add test here, whatever. Okay, product number, that's again internal, but so you could use for your inventory, 001. And product link. Now this is very, very awesome because you could use this link to navigate away from your app to, let's say, a purchase page where they can purchase that particular product. So let's add in here http rebeloper.com. Okay, description. Let's save this, and as you can see we still need to add our model. So you could just edit this component and go ahead and navigate here at the top left corner, and as you can see we can upload a thumbnail, upload original image, upload iOS model and Android model. As you know, this also works for Android as well. So let's upload our iOS model, and yeah, if you don't have any models you could also hire them, request a 3D AR content, and yeah, you could just send them over your pictures and they will do the rest to create these models. So I do have a chair here, so let's upload our iOS model, and I believe it's under downloads. There we go. And I will use this one. And if you have an SEN file, you make sure that you select all of them. If you have USDZ files, you can select just the USDZ file. It supports very a long list of files. And let's just choose this. And I will go back here and just scroll all the way up so you can see all of the supported formats. Yeah, it's really awesome. Okay, let's go back here, and yeah, Appen SCN model. That's really cool. So what I want to do next is upload a thumbnail, and let's see here. What do we have? Yeah, let's use this one. Okay, let's choose this. And there we go. We have a valid photo. And basically that's it. That is what you want to basically do on the dashboard. Just add in these products and of course click on save. There we go. Here we have our Rebeloper chair. Okay, so that's everything you need to do under the setup. And let's just go into the SDK. So let's just scroll all the way up here. And installation. we have to use CocoaPods. So Configwise SDK has to be added. So let's create a brand new project. So Xcode. And now let's get started creating a brand new project. Let me just resize this real fast. Okay, we will choose a single view application. Let's click on next here. Configwise demo. Okay, that's really nice. I will use core data just so some of you, do really know that you want to use core data for these handling of data. So let's do that. Let's click on next. By the way, use Swift UI because, yeah, why not? We are going to use this as Swift UI. And by the way, the example project is also in Swift UI. Okay, let's drop it onto the desktop. Yeah, so that's right. Let's just close this and do the usual stuff with CocoaPods. So let's go onto our desktop here. Configwise demo. Open up terminal as usual. Type in cd and a space. Just drag and drop the root folder of your project there and pod init. That will create a pod file for us. Okay, now let's open up this pod file in Xcode, of course. And now let's just copy this out. So pod configwise SDK. And then we just paste that in there. Okay, platform should be iOS 13. Okay, that seems nice. So pod install is the next command that we want to enter into our terminal, and that will install all of the dependencies. And let's just wait for those. Okay, so now that we have installed all of the dependencies needed, we just go back to our Finder and see that we have our workspace ready. Okay, so from now on we are going to use just that. So let's just open this up. What we are going to do is just download the demo project, and we are going to kind of borrow some of the files because, yeah, we don't have time for building out all of the UI in Swift UI. So we are just going to borrow some things here. And for that, let's just go back to our Safari. And yeah, before we download anything, let's just finish this installation. So in the info plist file, you want to add these keys. So I just copy and paste these. These are just asking users for camera usage, this allowance, and so on. So let's just go back into Xcode, navigate to our info plist file. Let's open as source code. Let's get rid of it. And let's just add all of this here. Let me just open as property list, and yeah, as you can see, there are a lot of privacies added there. Okay, that's that. And finally, we want to add node renderer.metal. Now, this couldn't be added with the CocoaPods, so we want to add this manually. So that is what we are going to do just right now by simply downloading the zip file, and yeah, we're just going to navigate there and just drag and drop it. So let's go to downloads. Let's unzip this. And there we go. Let's go to examples, iOS example. And in the iOS example, you will see that here we have our node renderer.metal. So before we do that, let's just open up this Xcode project. Just do this. And I will guide you through what we are going to just simply copy and paste, because, yeah, we don't need to worry all about that. Anyway, you will be building out the UI for yourself. All you have to know from this tutorial is to just what you actually have to do in order to add Configwise. So here we have our node renderer, and let's show in Finder. There we go. And what we want to do is just let's just move this a little bit away. Take a look at the app environment, content view, sign-in view, main view. So all of these will be added to our project. So there we go. Let's see. Activity indicator, yes. App environment, yes. AR scene view, AR view, canvas view. All of these need to be added. Loadable main view, and the metal file, scene view, and sign-in view. I believe that's roughly it. All of the others will need to be edited in some form. Okay, so let's click on finish. There we go. Rather yet, let's just delete our app delegate and scene delegate from here and our content view also. So let's just delete these and let's use the ones provided by the example. So app delegate, content view, and scene delegate. There we go. Nice. Okay, so as you can see, node renderer metal has been added, and we are done with the Configwise installation. Now, there's a quick start. You could go ahead and take a look at it. I will take the explanation away from this README file because, yeah, this is a YouTube video. We are going to move with the project. Okay, so first things first, we need to take a look at the app delegate and let's see what basically we have here, the structure of this project. Let's see. First of all, we need to change the NS persistence container because this needs to be so we don't get an error. So let's hit Command B and we should be able to have a valid build. So build has failed. Let's take a look at what actually is missing here. So there's an error here and it looks like we haven't removed the content view. So let's delete that. Let's move to trash. Okay. Let's hit Command B again. Hopefully now all would be okay. Okay, build has succeeded. Really nice. Okay, so scene delegate. That is where we start off. And as you can see here, we have an app environment. Now, the app environment is a really handy tool to use the Configwise SDK. And the app environment is right over here. In the app environment, you first have to initialize the app. So you could use this app environment to your convenience, and I highly recommend it. But you could also understand what you really need to do and do your own environment. Now, first of all, you have to set a mode. And this mode could be business to client or business to business. We are going to just cover business to client. And after that, we want to grab that mode and initialize our Configwise SDK. And as you can see, when this app environment is initialized, we do that already. And we do that with the variant, an auth token, and of course you could debug logging or debug 3D. And what you have to be aware of is that here we have our company auth token. So let's grab that. Okay, let's go back here to Configwise and see company profile, I believe. There we go. And here we have our token. And yeah, mine is blurred out, but you just copy and paste this. And if you don't have it, you just generate a new one if you are a new user. So let's go back there, paste that in there. And yeah, basically that is it. Let's just navigate away from here. And what we want to do next is sign into Configwise. Now, you could just create a brand new sign in for your users, but it's much easier to use the auto sign in from the Configwise SDK. And as you can see, we have a shared instance with the current company. And after that, we just kind of grab from the shared instance the current company, and once we do have that, we want to just sign in. And let's just scroll all the way down to the sign in. I believe, yeah, there it is. As you can see, we can have an email and a password, and those all are optionals. And if they are set to nil, then we will just sign in with the shared instance as an auto sign in. And of course, we want to get back our current company after we signed in. Now, one last thing we want to do here in the app environment is just go here. You need the observers. Yeah, and on the initialize, we want to remove the observers. Now, what are these observers? Well, they are kind of looking out for errors, and the first one is unsupported app version, and the second one is on sign out. So maybe you are on an iPhone, I don't know, SE or an older version which doesn't support AR, then this will be triggered. And if you sign out, then this notification will be triggered, which kind of does the housekeeping. Okay, now let's just scroll all the way down, and let's talk a little about components, because we are going to get into components in just a moment. And while we are in this file, let's just talk about that. We want to grab those products, and if you recall, I called them earlier components. We want to obtain the components. Now, these components are in a catalog, so we want to grab our catalog for our company, and that's really easy to do. Catalog service, shared instance, obtain catalog by company, and the company that you have grabbed when you signed in. Okay, and for the catalog components, obtain all catalog components, all components by catalog. Yeah, it's self-explanatory. And once we do have those components, we want to load them, let's say, in the list, and this is loaded into our list. We could also get component by ID if we wanted to. And here are some little bit helper files, extensions for string, delay, loading, view style. Yeah, you just take a look at the UI of this example code if you want to, but you could just build out your own. And basically that's it for the app environment. Now let's take a look how all of this is built out. So let's go to the content view. Now this is the first view that is presented, of course, and we are just going to create an app environment object, and we are just going to check if this is signed in or it is the main. Now, if we are signed in, the navigation is set to sign in. We are just going to present a sign-in view, and if it's a main view, then we are going to present the main view. And basically, this is kind of requiring to sign in. We are just going to use the main view. So let's just jump to the main view, and you will see that we have a tab view with a catalog view and the app component view. Now, this is in production, and we are just going to set a real simple catalog view. Now, let's jump to that catalog view. And again, here we have the list that I was talking about. Let me just make this a little bit larger. So here we have our list with the components, and we are going to present, when we tap on any of those, we are just going to present an AR view. Now, again, these views are predefined. You can take a look at this, but the most important part here in the AR view is that you need to have the app environment present, and you have to have a component. Okay, initial component. When you grab that component, you have to instantiate an AR adapter. Now, the AR adapter is in Objective-C, so luckily we have an AR scene view ready in this example. And on the init view, we are just going to set some properties on the AR adapter. Think of the AR adapter as basically the view controller that is taken, and if you are from UIKit, you know that view controller has delegates and so on. So it's taking care of the AR stuff that is presented on our view. That is why here we have manage delegate self. So we are having some delegates here also. And of course, you can take a look at the scene, all of these properties. They are properly explained what each and every one does on the GitHub page. And this could be also expanded throughout time. Okay, so when we appear, we want to run the AR session. So this is really important. Once we do, let's say in the view did load, if you are in ARKit, you run the AR session. And when we disappear, we want to pause the AR session because, yeah, it's taking up resources. So as you can see, we have the add component dialog. So all of these nice helper views. And here we have our AR view. Now, what you want to do in the AR view is basically load the model from the component. So model load service, shared instance, load model by the component. And yeah, basically, once that's done, we want to add the model to the AR adapter. So we are downloading it from Configwise, and then we want to add the model to our AR adapter, which again is kind of the view controller that we are using in this AR view. And finally, that is it. So now we do have our AR model in the view, and we want to listen for events. And that is what this AR management delegate is for. And you can take a look at all the callbacks that we have here. They are pretty self-explanatory. And basically, that is it. That is all the structure of the app that we want to build out. It could be in UIKit, but we did it in Swift UI. So let's build and run and see how this looks like. So it's loading up. Here we have our catalogs. And as you can see, we already have our Rebeloper chair test, but we just set there up. And you could use this as a scene, or you could just simply use ARKit. We are just going to use AR. So let's tap on this and let's allow. Let's just see here. Okay, it's also loading. And there we go. Here we have our nice chair. Let's just move it a little bit further back and just tap anywhere outside the chair. There we go. We have a nice chair. How awesome is that? And all of that with just a few lines of code. Well, basically with the example helper, there's just a few lines of code and a few minutes of setup in the dashboard. So let me just go a little bit to the place where you can kind of obtain the link, because that would be the next step. So if you just want to move the user to a next page where they could just purchase. So after a few seconds of searching, I found it. It's in the component list item view. Well, basically we are displaying our app name and the component total size. And this component has these properties that you are really interested in. And I believe it's the product link or the product link URL. So product link is the string, product link URL, it's the URL. So now you can navigate away to that particular product. Now, if you have less than 10 products, of course, you could just use the simple catalog and just have 10 products. But if you do want to have more products, you want to go with their paid version, I really recommend that. And you could just request a 3D or an AR content from them. It's much easier. Just let them do the rest because they are professionals. And you just take care of this really easy to use dashboard. So yeah, that's how easy it is to add AR into your apps nowadays. So now you know how easy it is to build out your AR dreams with the help of Configwise. Now, make sure that you hit that like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, go ahead and share the links below with your apps which you built with AR and Configwise. And as usual, I will see you in the next one.